So I was talking about onSubmit client script. So here the script, the onSubmit script, what it does is it will check for the duplicate. Okay. For example, let me open it. So with the same short description and caller ID, if it is there, it will not allow. It shouldn't allow us. So I'll remove this caller ID as of now. If the with the same short description, if you try to create the incident, it shouldn't allow us to create. Okay. So for that, first let's check whether we are able to get able to trigger this particular on submit client script or not. Okay. For example, this is the short description. And if we try to create a new record, then only it will trigger. Why? Because we are checking if it is a new record, then only trigger this particular GlideAJax code. Okay. Here we are checking g_form dot is new record. That means if it is a new record, we are doing a server side call to this Ajax util script include. Okay, by passing Ajax util and the function name, and we are passing the short description as well. Okay. So whenever we try to create a new record, we try to give the same short description. Which is matching with any of the other records. These are mandatory fields. Let me fill these. So I'm getting this alert which I have written here, which is it says object XML HTTP request. XML HTTP request means I'm getting the response in the XML. Okay, so I need to pass this. Okay, so here I need to write a code which will be parsing that particular response. Okay, so if you type any GlideAJax example, you will be showing here is the code which will be getting the actual response from that particular XML object. Okay, so here I'll try to get that particular answer. Okay, here we are using RES, so here we should replace with RES. So I have got the answer. Okay, so here I am just returning false if the duplicate is present. Okay, if answer equals to false, And what I have to do, I have to throw an error, add error message. G underscore form dot add error message will show you error message in the red color. Okay. Same short description is already present. Okay. It will say this, and in order to avoid submission, we have to use return false. Okay. So if you see here, we are using return false twice here. Okay. One is here and one is here. So here why we are using is whenever there is a GlideAJax call, like whenever in the onSubmit client script. Okay. So whenever in the onSubmit client script, if you are using GlideAJax, so what happens is on click of submit. Okay. On click of submit, it will try to get submit. The form will try to get submit. Okay. So to stop that, I am using this return false. Okay, because if it is directly Ajax code, it will be we don't need to write return false. Like if it is synchronous call, we don't need to write return false because it's an asynchronous call. We are asking user to stop the processing. Why? Because we need the result immediately. Why? Because here we are clicking on the submit, right? Okay. So I'll show you what is the difference between synchronous and asynchronous. So for example, let me reload this. That will fill the new incident once again. Okay. And I'm giving the same short description which I gave before. Okay. So if I try to save or submit the form, this is coming. Remove that right. This is not getting submitted, but why that particular alert message came in? I guess that particular code which we have written, it's not loaded yet. Let me say it again and let me create a new incident. I try to submit. The incident with same short description is already present. We are getting. So here the form is not getting submitted. Okay. Okay. Why? Because here we are stopping it. Okay. So if I change the short description, let's check whether it will get submitted or not. Okay. Now I'm submitting it. So still it's not getting submitted. Okay. So let's check what is the issue for it. So here, maybe this is the code which does that. Let me check. Mm, OnSubmit. So there will be a small trick which we need to do. Maybe we need to manually use the g underscore form dot save. We'll check. Okay. So here what they are doing is for asynchronous call, like they are first returning true. Like if they directly want to submit the form, then they can return true. They don't want to do that. Like for example, this is Ajax call, right? So they are doing Ajax call. Okay. So before this Ajax call completes, so they are returning that, so that that particular form doesn't get submitted. Okay. For example, they got that, like for example, what is that particular Ajax? GA dot get answer of the function. Okay. So the answer is false. Then they are returning. Else they are manually submitting the form. One sec. It is a bit confusing. Let me open any other one. Okay. So if you check here, so whenever Ajax is not complete, they are doing Ajax call and returning the false. Okay. In the Ajax call, if they got the answer, then they are using g underscore form dot submit. Okay. So here, what we have to understand is this is a asynchronous call. Okay. Asynchronous means which will be waiting for the user's response, like which will be waiting for the thread in order to get free. So for every code, it has to go to the server side script. Okay, right? So in order to run that particular server side script, it has to wait until and unless that particular thread is free. So if it is free, it will do that particular job and it will call this callback function. So in the meanwhile, as we are manually clicking on submit, so it will try to get submit if we don't write this return false. Okay. So even it the call will be in the backend, it will be happening, but if we don't write this return false, it will be submitting the form. So in order to avoid that submission upfront, we are writing the return false. Okay. So whenever we got the response, okay, if it is return false, we are showing an add error message, that is fine. But we have to manually submit the form again if the value is valid. So that's why we are writing here g underscore form dot submit. Okay. Let's check now if it works or not. Okay. Let me create a new incident. I'm giving the same duplicate short description, filling the mandatory details, and if I'm clicking on submit. Okay. So I got the error saying the incident with same short description is already present. So now I'm changing. Okay. So now if I click on submit, Let me check if there are any line script codes. So even if we try to submit, it is not getting submitted. Okay. Just so what is the like? Let me check what is it in the answer. Are we getting the so I'm clicking on submit. The value which I'm getting is false. That's why it is not getting submitted. So once again, if I change something, now let's check what is the value we are getting. We are getting true. Okay. So even after getting true, this particular form is not getting submitted. Okay, let's check what is the issue here. So it should get submitted form. We are getting the alert as true. Same way we are given here. So the form got submitted, but the alert is okay. So I guess that return false is correct. We have to write that particular return false itself. That's why it didn't wait. Okay. Let's check one more. return true means we should submit the form. Okay. But we are not submitting the form. I don't know why. So we got answer as true. Will be coming here. I'll try to save, but they shouldn't. So it is running infinitely. So after saving the form, so once again that script is running infinitely. That's why this is not getting executed. Okay, so what is happening is once we use that, but if once it runs the return like g underscore form dot submit or g underscore form dot save. So what is happening is it is running that particular script again. So it went to infinite loop. Okay, that's why here we are not here we are getting this alert continuously. Let's check. So if you check here also they are using the same way. First they are returning the false. Okay, in the callback function here, they are using return false and return submit. Let's check what is the answer. So it returns always false. Functions can execute after on submit return to change cannot be run in the callback function rather than submit. So instead of on submit function, they are directly using return true here. They are not using g underscore form dot submit. So let's change this particular code and check. So now let's try to submit the form. So we got the alert as true. But the form is still not getting submitted. Let me check any other example. So let's figure it out ourselves. There are no such. So this part of code is getting executed, but on submit client script is not getting saved. So we'll check any of the existing unsubmit client script, then we might get some clarity. Okay. So as of now, this is not getting submitted. Let me check existing client script where they are using GlideAJax. Type is on submit. So I'm checking only on submit client script, and in that script should contain GlideAJax. So let me check this. They are using a synchronous call. So whenever there is get XML wait, that is a synchronous call. So synchronous call we can directly use, but we are trying to use asynchronous call, which is get XML. So this, if you use synchronous call, it won't wait. It will directly execute it. So I'll try to change it to synchronous if it doesn't work. But first we'll try to check if there are any asynchronous ways of doing. Okay. So here also they are using asynchronous call itself. Okay, because synchronous call directly it won't work. So I am trying to make it work, but let's check. Here they might be just updating some data. That's why they are not using anything in this callback function. Okay, get XML, get answer. So we'll try to use synchronous call for now. Okay. So synchronous call, how we will use it, it won't have any callback function. We'll just use ga.getXML wait and where answer equals to ga.getAnswer. Okay. So I'll try to change our code to this. Okay. So how we have to write is where answer equals to ga.getXML wait. Okay. And after that, sorry, ga.getXML wait and ga.getAnswer is another function. So now where answer is ga.getAnswer. Get answer. Yeah. Okay. So now we don't need this particular function. So false. Else I'm returning true. If it is only answer, if it is false, then I'm showing an error message. Otherwise, I'm returning true. Let me try to create a new incident. So I'm trying to submit. So it got submitted, but it has been redirected here. Ideally, it shouldn't redirect. Let me check if there is any error in this particular code. So if you see, let me let me try once again. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, so if you see the form got submitted, and I'll try to give back in like same short description. Okay, so now I'll be giving the same short description as others. So if I try to submit, I'm getting duplicate entry. Okay, but the onSubmit client script which we have used is synchronous call. So it will stop all the submissions and it will execute this, and then only this form will submit. So that's why it is working seamlessly. So in order to make it work with like asynchronous ways, we have to do some changes. As of now, like it's not working. Okay, but if you want to use synchronous, you can use like that. Okay, so we have like any doubts in this particular code? First,
So Sunil, check duplicate and short description are the functions in Ajax util scripting loop.
no, only check duplicate is a function in this. So whatever sysparam underscore name is right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with this name, so sysparam underscore name, only this particular like code, like parameter will contain the function. Like in the Ajax utility, if you check, only sysparam name will have the function name. So
Okay.
anything apart from these, so those will be like any values which we send. So if you check duplicate is a function, and we are getting the short description using this dot get parameter sys parameter underscore dsc, right? So sys param
Okay.
underscore description. Okay, so we are
Okay.
getting the all the other values in this particular function. Whatever with the like it is with name, that is the function.
Okay. So if that is the case, like for one GlideAJax, we'll be able to call only one function, right?
Yeah, at a time we'll be calling only one function. From that one function, you can call many other functions, like based on your need. Ideally, there won't be any requirement to call multiple functions,
Okay.
because at a time you will be calling only one function. So if you have anything to check, you can call in that particular function. So inside check duplicate function, you can write any other, like call any other functions, and you can check whatever you want to check. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So if you use getXML wait, that means user is waiting for the response. Okay. So that is the synchronous way. Okay. So, as of now, here we are giving this messages or hard coded. Hard coded means we are directly giving the values. So these are not configurable. Okay. So if you see here, it is the messages, right? So these messages, we can use this messages field in order to uh, store these hard coded values or UI messages. Okay. So here I'm using duplicate entry. So ideally what happens is, for example, I want to change this in message from duplicate entry to some other message. Generally that will happen. Okay. In any of the organization, they might want to change because user might not able to understand it. That's why we use something called messages. Okay. So if you see here, messages will be there. So this will be even useful even whenever you want to translate to any other languages. Okay. So if there are any language oriented instances where same instance being used for multiple other countries, then it will be very useful, because for English language, this is the value. For like any other language, that is the value. Like that, we can even give that. Okay. If any language is enabled in this particular instance, we can use these particular messages, so that whatever is being shown on the form, that will change according to the user's language. Okay. So here in any of the messages, there will be key and there will be message. For example, key is duplicate entry. For example, okay, here is my code. So the key is duplicate entry, and the value is something like duplicates not allowed. Okay. So you can use this key in order to get the value, and even in the value in the future, if it gets changed, we don't need to come to the code and change it. We can directly change from this message. I'll tell you how we can get the message here. Okay. So normally, if you want to get the message, you can use directly use get message, and you can pass the key. Okay. Then you can use this message here. I'll continue this message, how we can use this message tomorrow. Okay, but as of now, I'm just trying to tell you, instead of using in hard coded way, we can use these messages. Okay. So whenever you are trying to create any new incident, let me get all the incidents so that I can get the duplicate. So here demo is the one. So if I'm trying to submit it, here I'm getting duplicates not allowed. Okay. So if I change the value in the messages to something else directly, that particular value will be coming. So every time we need not to come to code and change it. Okay, everywhere this particular key is used, that particular message will be used. So in this way, it is very configurable, and any other users like customers also directly they can change. Okay. I'll continue the class tomorrow regarding this, because in this we have this message field, right? So how we can use that and all, I'll tell you. Any doubts here? Okay. So I'll continue the class tomorrow. Okay. Thank you.